In this video, I'm going to teach you about loops. What are loops? Loops are basically sections of code that you can continuously repeat for a certain number of times. Okay, so for example, if you want to print something 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, I don't need to keep on writing 100 lines of code, 1,000 lines of code of print statements. Okay, I can just put it in a loop. Okay, so how do we go about writing loops and what kind of loops are available in Python? Okay, so let's start off with first creating a new file, and I'm going to call this uh, my while loop. Okay, so let's go to our folder here. Okay, I'm going to call it my while loop. Okay, so in Python, basically there are two common types of loops that we can use. One is the while loop and the other one is the for loop. Okay, so I'm going to go through the while loop first. Okay, and what we're going to do is we first going to get the user to key in a number from 1 to 10. Okay, so let's capture that input. So if you recall, we will say num equals to input. Okay, and we're going to say enter a number from 1 to 10. Okay, and since I want to interpret this number as an integer, I'm going to cast it to integer straight away. Okay, and now what I want to do is I want to continuously print the number that is keyed in and keep on incrementing it by 1 until it reaches the limit of 10. Okay, so if I key in a value of 7, then I want to print out 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, how do I go about doing that? So firstly, how I need to write a while loop. So I say while, okay, num is less than equals to 10. So this is basically a check whether it is a true or false condition. Okay, so what will happen is as long as num is less than or equals to 10, I will enter this section of the code. Okay, similar to if and else if. Whenever you write the statement and you put a colon, you will notice that the next line is automatically one tab inside, correct, in terms of the editing space. So that is basically the section of code that belongs to this instruction here. So now while num is less than or equals to 10, what I want to do is print out the value in num. Okay, so I say print. Okay, I'm going to say value of num. Okay, and I'm going to put in num over here. So what will happen is the very first time, let's say I key in a value of 7. 7 is less than or equals to 10, which is true. So I'll print it out. Okay, and after that what I want to do is I want to increment it by 1. Okay, so rightfully you will say num equals to num plus 1. Okay, I'm just going to show you another way of writing it, a shortcut way. You can also say num plus equals to 1. So this is the same as put a comment here, num equals to num plus 1. So if you remember, anything after the hash sign is considered a comment. Okay, so this is not code. Okay, but I'm just trying to show you that this instruction num plus equals to 1 is the same as num equals to num plus 1. Okay, and once that is done, basically these are the only two lines of code that I want uh, to be part of the loop. Okay, so I'm going to press enter and I'm going to key in backspace, so I go back to the start of the new line, and then I want to print one more statement to say print, okay, end of program. Okay, so let's just see what is going to be executed here. Okay, so we can get a feel for how this code is going to work. Okay, so let's save it. I'm going to run the module here. Okay, so it says enter number 1 to 10. So if I key in 7, you print out 7, 8, 9, 10. So as you can see, when I key in the number, it converts it to integer and it does a check over here. So while num is less than or equals to 10 is basically a check where the result of this check is either true or false. So if it is true, I will come in and execute this part of the code. So you first print out 7, increment by 1, and go back and check again. So after increment by 1, it will become 8. Correct? So you're still satisfied. One more time. 9 still satisfied, one more time. 10 still satisfied, one more time, becomes 11. Correct? So right now, if I were to check the value of num over here, what would you expect? The number should be 11. Okay, why? Because right now the number, this condition is no longer satisfied. Okay, so if I try to just key in here num less than equals to 10, okay, it will say false. Okay, because this condition is no longer satisfied. Okay, so initially it was satisfied until it exceeded the value of 10, then it's no longer satisfied. So that is why I print this. Okay, so I hope this gives you a good idea of how the code works. Let's just uh, try it for a few other numbers and see what happens. Okay, so let's say I key in 10, what happens? Okay, so if I key in 10, it will satisfy one time, but the moment I print out the value of num is 10, it automatically becomes 11, and so the second iteration onwards is no longer satisfied, so I'll print end of program. Correct? So that is why you only see 10. Now let's just try one more time. If I key in, let me just make this a bit higher here. Okay, if I key in a value of 11, then what happens? So 11 does not satisfy the condition from the beginning. Correct? So since it does not satisfy the condition from the beginning, it does not come in at all. It straight away comes here. Okay, so I hope with this you get a good idea of how the loops in terms of using the while approach works. Okay, so this is what we call the while loop in Python. Okay, so please have a try. In the next class, I'm going to teach you about the for loop. All right, Ken, thank you.